rolling for FlyQuest.
Well, let's see what happens here in Champs, because this is a crucial one to get correct here. CLG on the blue side for this final game. FlyQuest over on the red. Malzahar ban, Aurelion Sol ban. These are all the things we expect. The questions are, what are the adaptations moving into this first phase of bans? Because Rengar is just sticking out on the FlyQuest side as something CLG don't want to give away. And there's even a change here. Rumble banned second by CLG.
Well, they do have side selection here, and that is the advantage. FlyQuest, knowing the importance of Rengar, which is 4-0 now in this series, it's going to get taken away. So that is a change in the pick bans. They're going to have to leave something else open. Perhaps Camille.
Yeah, definitely a lot of top lane options still left on the table. Oh, there goes one of them. Shen off the table. Would CLG even be willing to first pick a Nautilus if it was left up, though? I
think they take Camille, but we'll see. Like, I mean, Nautilus is open. The Lulu would have been an easy first pick for CLG, but that's gone. So, you know, now they're kind of forcing them into that choice. Balls also has not had a lot of success on Camille, so you could leave it open, saying, "Hey, you can't really play it."
Yeah.
First pick Graves is apparently the answer for CLG. So we'll see what FlyQuest want to do here for their first two picks of this final game.
I mean, the Nautilus is up, and I think that Balls on Tanks has been really good for them. That being said, you know, they showed success with both the Renekton as well as the Rumble already.
And you've essentially already given over the better jungler to CLG. Are you willing to also give away this top laner that has been banned out time and time again? Because if you do not pick it here, you know, it's not guaranteed that Darshan will, but certainly has the ability to and has had some good carry performances.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, though, maybe FlyQuest want Darshan on a slower moving champion, so it takes them longer to join up with the rest of the team. Tank isn't very effective if he's not there at the beginning of the fights.
And if you do lock in that Camille, Poppy is available. We have seen FlyQuest run that matchup before as well, so that is something that they could look at.
Well, I like this from FlyQuest, actually, just straight picking the duo lane that performed so well in the final game and continuing to take Ashe away from Stixxay. So Karma, Ashe there, their first two picks. CLG, if they want Camille, probably have to pick it now.
I do expect us to see a Poppy come out if this is the option. A Nautilus would be strong here too, but I do think that FlyQuest has shown the propensity to pick that matchup, even when Camille was super overpowered.
Yeah, especially after the nerfs to Camille coming in, I definitely think that is a matchup they're willing to take. CLG, though, if they do lock it in, and they do, looking to commit to that split push style. I mean, Camille does still take a little bit of help to get through the early game. It's just, you know, once you get those items coming through, well, it really takes off.
Yeah, I'm going to be really interested to see FlyQuest phase 2 bans as well after the next pick here, because although Stixxay lost, he did more than, I think, triple the damage of the Ashe last game. He was very close to actually taking over that game on Ezreal. He was very, very strong. And, you know, do you target things like the Caitlyn, like the Ezreal, trying to take Stixxay off one of those threats? Because if that was a closer game as far as gold, I think he does take
I think so as well, but there's an army for CLG to go with the Camille, and Renekton is actually the pick that Balls wants, not the tankier pick like the Poppy. They continue to ban Vlad away as well, so Stixxay will have an AD carry option open in either Ezreal or Caitlyn, unless they horrendously misclick in their phase 2 bans.
And I do think that Renekton can match up well with Camille, especially if you, as long as you're not behind by Trinity Force time. I think you do very well in the early game. You can be quite strong. You still have extremely powerful gank assist and can set that up.
And then a couple more jungle bans coming in against Moon, but Moon is the guy who has the Pocket Evelynn. Definitely has the Gragas still, has been one of my favorites actually of his champions that he can definitely delve into. So I don't think these bans are gonna, you know, hurt him that much.
No, but it would be very exciting to see something like that Evelynn come out in a game 5 if he has confidence on it, or to see if he goes to Shango. Yeah, I was going there next. I mean, Kobe gets tilted.
Well, there's Orianna actually banned for CLG, so I really like that little ban here. I think they're going to counterpick for high, but it kind of depends on what they're thinking of playing. If they're also trying to hide a jungle pick, they'll probably want to counterpick it as well. So this should tell us a lot about what FlyQuest want to do here.
And they've taken away one of the safer blind pick mid laners. So if you wanted to leave your jungle for last, that is now made more difficult.
He's doing it. Straight to Evelynn. I mean, it makes sense. Moon, he's performed so many times on this champion. If you're in this sort of situation, you know that your whole team, but especially your leader high, is just saying, dude, You're great at Evelyn. Just pick it. We're going to win this game.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what build he goes with, too, because Evelyn has a lot of options. It's very easy to be flexible in it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I want to see a gunblade!
That's where I was leaning towards. He could go super offensive with it. Stixay, one of the old specials here for him. Definitely regaining a bunch of ground after the buffs to Blade of the Ruin King and everything.
Loves to build that first. And you can play some pretty unique builds as far as the lifesteal tank type setups on that Kalista.
Game 5, forcing out some more.
Oh, Echo!
Over here, babe. Oh, and who he's Echo. The champion they pulled off their double TP play with, and one of the assassins that he has been very good at taking over team fights with as well.
CLG has made a clear statement with this draft. This is a 1-3-1 setup. Yeah. You have your Kalista to keep your Nami safe, your Nami to disengage for your other.
All right, here we go.
You have the 1-3-1, 2 assassins in the mid lane.
We finally get High to have his assassin matchup, and who he's the one to take the challenge.
Well, Talent for High is going to be the final pick for FlyQuest, and this draft couldn't signify the styles of these teams anymore.
Game 5, baby! It really brings out what people feel comfortable on. What are you going to go to in crunch time?
It's a beautiful thing, seeing all these players bring out these picks in the most important game of the season for them.
And that will test the macro play of CLG, the cool under pressure, the elegant play they've shown for so long, versus the raw aggression of FlyQuest. They've won the last 2 games going full steam ahead. I don't know what speed is above that for this team, but they will show us here in this game.
One thing I do want to say is the importance of Evelyn's start is made even more important by the fact that the rest of his team is all AD. He needs to be a solid AP threat so his team cannot itemize very easily towards mass ninja tabis and things like that.
Plus, you know, High is all in with this mid lane assassin style. He's taking Ignite, whereas Echo almost always will take that teleport and have more options later into the game. You know, parkour is great for getting across the map fast, but teleport's better.
Yeah. And that's, once again, towards the split push, right? They want the 1-3-1 game. CLG does not need to really make something happen in the early game, I feel like. There's much more pressure on FlyQuest. CLG should look to play safe, farm it out, set up their 1-3-1. FlyQuest needs the aggression, and they need it early.
And these teams would not have it any other way in a final game, but only one of them can win.
Oh, really?
So we'll see whose style is going to look a lot better here.
Best of 7. Let's keep going.
Don't do that to Lemon Nation. He's got the 3 things so down pat. 3 games, 3 matches, 1 last game here. CLG FlyQuest all the way to game number 5.
So interesting, too, when you have series push to game 5 like this, in the possible setups for the reverse sweep, you know, is FlyQuest really able to keep it going? They have, people talk about momentum all the time, and they're definitely feeling more confident with recent wins. But CLG, no, this is the last stand and their last chance at getting further in the playoffs.
And also repeating their MSI success from last year. That was, you know, the peak of CLG success was MSI last year. They need to win here to keep going, to fight for that dream.
Well, it looks like their future opponents are already weighing in on the result of this potential game. Both Bjergsen and Hornso, who these teams will play.
Well, CLG is actually coming down to collapse here.
Really nice here. Who are we going to start it off? Lemon Nation. The triple flash force already for FlyQuest. CLG trying to get the damage done early. Smithy not quite enough bullets left. Ebb and Flow is there, but the Rake going to force them back.
CLG looking to get some early kills for themselves there, but everybody does get out alive. Flashes in mid lane.
Don't say it too soon. Lemon Nation gonna get the Q down.
They're gonna get flanked though. This is super dangerous from CLG.
And it's 130 now. Minions are already coming down.
Moon is in. The damage is good. Afro's gonna be forced to flash away. Moon doesn't follow Flash. So aggressive from everyone here at level 1.
Okay, so both supports, no flash. The Talon, though, critically as well. No flash in the mid lane. Could definitely take away a lot of the pressure that he likes to play with. The other thing is that Evelyn does get, you know, fairly damaged clearing the jungle and got harassed pretty early on, you know, going for the wraparound gank there to get that flash off the bottom lane. See if Moon goes for this. One thing you can do to get a lot of life back, starting that talisman, you just press the Q as you walk by the raptors. There's so many of them. It tags the health steal on every single one. You don't kill them. Just walk away and let the health come in.
Yep, Moon actually cleared the wolves already and still has smite, so should safely take these raptors, or might even go to red. Great ward from CLG has spotted Moon out though. That's really important information against an Evelyn, who he just harassing down onto high, but that time winder doesn't quite connect.
And look for Huhi to really play the early stages aggressively, try to push with his Q, and then try to get a decent amount of gold and base. But it's an all-in the bot lane. Elimination with no flash.
Ignite down first blood. Stixxay, CLG on the board, but there's a trade kill. Outside gets one back, and he's got a flash. He might go after Afro here.
Stixxay had his flash. He could have backed up and still going forward.
I'm just trying to think what he was thinking was going to happen right there with the auto attack trading. But in the end, 1-for-1 trade.
Oh, it's the bubble from Afro. He's been so on point with those this series. Triggers the all-in. And Stixxay, I think he's just accepting his death there.
Yeah. You're like, maybe he could go for like the flashback, auto onto that minion and try to hop backwards. But yeah, maybe I just accepted it.
And I do think if you think there's no way to get out there, it's actually better to not trade flashes and just give up your death, keep your flash alive against someone like the Evelynn and the Talon.
Alright, just going to clean these minions out of the way. A lot of mana being expended by both of these assassins. Level 4 there for both of them as well, so things looking even there.
Yeah, and that does go in Hui's favor. If you can actually just make it a wave clear game, just push it back and forth, because you will be the one to push out the final wave, teleport back, and try to come back here with an item advantage. But Smithy's coming down.
There's so much aggression. Stixxay's only level 2 and now Artek's being caught. Good flash going to get him out to safety, but he will not be so lucky next time.
Yeah, Stixxay did a good job chasing him up into the river there, right into Smithy's waiting arms and getting a free summoner for himself, plus denying a bunch of minions. This is in a very good spot for their duo lane on the bottom side, and it makes it fairly risky for Altec.
And Moon moving around here, getting some vision down. He does have the early Hunter's Talisman. He's going to come back and try to capitalize on this TP. Hui moving up, could be in some trouble, has summoners.
Waiting, but now he's going to move in for it. Damage is there. Hui already phase dives away. Not quite enough, but really well played.
And while that didn't look close at all, if he took one more step forward and Hai gets the Q onto him with the Ignite up, that's at least a flash. So Hui was very quick there, responded well.
Yeah, he knows the wave is going to push towards him, and he's going to wait around. You can see us with Time Winder just fine. Moon didn't want to sit there forever and wait for a commitment, or else he'd get very far behind in the jungle.
See, Altec definitely playing scared without that flash. Stixxay getting a control ward down that he bought from that early first blood gold and actually clears the vision completely out from under FlyQuest bottom lane. So Smithy's repeat, if he wants it, could be very successful. Otherwise, FlyQuest just forced to play back now.
And you have to be so careful against the Kalista because she can chase you down with that all-in, especially because of the speed-ups and the slowdowns that Nami offers for the Kalista.
And now we get into kind of a difficult situation for the Evelynn, because Graves is going to power farm better than an Evelynn can ever. But there's so much pressure for him to create something, a laning advantage because of that factor. Right now, he's waiting around bottom. We kind of talked about how he didn't want to wait around forever. He'll fall behind in farm, and that is kind of happening. He was shadowing down bottom here for the last like 20 seconds, even though his Krugs are up, and Smithy is just base, back out to farming, base, back out to farming.
And look at the sense that CLG has that he is around here. They know they pushed it in, so they do not need to move up to force the minion wave. That CS will come to them. So they back off, they play it very safe, because they know that Moon must make something happen. Do not give him an easy gank. Make him force it and put him in a bad spot.
Yep, so much of the last 2 games for FlyQuest have been about Moon's early success, so keeping the Evelynn down in the early game when she's strongest is absolutely vital. Hui diving him back onto Hai as well, but Hai back in there with a bit of a bleed.
Yeah, pretty critical there to get back the end of that trade. Level 6 now for Hai.
And it is a very interesting matchup because both of these champions rely on that third hit.
That was a great shot.
Smithy's around here.
Smithy going in, but Hai actually going to get aggressed on there by Smithy. Parkours over the wall, but there's the W going to follow him. Hai back over the next wall. I don't really know where he can go, but he's going to try and get himself out.
He can try and time it out to go for an execute as well if he fakes them out here, or just go for the escape.
Lemon Nation here to save him. CLG over. Oh, he got the slow. But he's got enough walls to get out. Honey fruit pops, and Hai gets out.
They do get the flash, though, and Hui will be able to have the push here. So that is still something gained for CLG.
Look, Smithy might even be waiting. Doesn't see the next leap. Has level 6, but blue buff is up here for Hai. He's probably going to lose it with CLG starting it up.
They do have to be a little bit careful. One of the tendencies Smithy has had is he has a tremendous amount of alone deaths. He is supported by the team here now, though, so we'll be able to take away that blue buff.
Going to smite it away, likely donate the next one over to Hu here as Moon is looking with level 6. Hai going to try and make something happen. And he's embraced down. Hu going to dive back in onto Moon. TP committed for CLG. is going to cancel it. Moon just burns the ulti and walks away.
It was matched critically, so neither team comes out with that TP advantage.
Balls has almost always matched. As soon as anyone sees a TP, I feel like they're making the call, and he instantly matches, because that's so many times this series. Whenever Darshan starts it out, Balls is right there to answer, and then we'll just cancel it right after.
And I think especially between these two teams, they have such a willingness to commit to these crazy all-in team fights. If that's about to break out, you cannot afford to be late at all. So he's willing to not make the greedy play and always match.
Nice stuff there. Again, Balls just has so much experience playing with his two teammates, High and Lemon, and now a season with all of FlyQuest.
And against this very guy. I mean, Darshan and Balls have been playing against each other in the top lane in North America for years.
Blue buff over the two here, so the early smite from Smithy not going to cost him anything. Timeline are going to snag it. And now going to walk back to mid lane. Serrated Dirk done by. He's booking it back down, but Hui in a really good spot here in that mid lane. Again, just shoving it up. He's going to have the teleport back up in 45 seconds and can look to make some sort of side lane play. High, he wants to leave this lane where possible, but without the early start from especially his jungler, there's just not as many options for FlyQuest to be as aggressive.
And it's just the fact that Echo is always going to be pushing you in, is a very safe champion. He can match the roams as well with the TP, as he can also use the ultimate to get back to lane, so he has a lot of options to play around, although it would be risky against an assassin to use that ult to get back to lane.
Actually, pings here around the dragon area for FlyQuest even. They stop off on a couple of the wards, though, doing some vision work.
Altec with level 6, so good ultimate to add to the mix. 6 not quite there yet. You can see that push into the bottom lane really helping. FlyQuest, just really good positioning, are going to take this.
And Infernal Drake in this game with damage-oriented junglers, damage-oriented top laners, assassins in the mid lane is very big.
Done there for Balls onto Darshan. Zips out of the way from under that second Q, I believe. And it looks like our next Drake is in line with the tension of the series, because Infernal number 2 will be on the way shortly.
Yeah, puts even more pressure on it. I will say that the early game has gone the way that CLG would like it to. They're the ones who want to set up a split push. They're the ones, I think, that have the better setup for the late game, with Camille starting to outscale that Rengar in the 1v1. You know, Hui with a teleport to split push. So things are looking nice for them in that regard, but FlyQuest obviously right in there.
Big amount of damage from Darshan, actually. Balls trading nicely, but looks like his jungler is not behind him.
That's have Camille ult.
Balls does have his splash, but he's got to use it carefully. Now Camille ult is going to lock him down. He pops his ultimate, but he's got no help here. Darshan maybe going to get low here. Balls going to try and fight it out, but he doesn't have it. Smithy snags the kill.
Looked like he accepted his death there as well. Didn't want to burn the flash in attempt to escape, because the flashes from CLG could come through after that as well. And Moon will at least be able to soak up that farm. Actually, Balls has his teleport, so that would create a desync if he decides to use it. They could just make the call, hey, Moon, soak this wave, and I'll walk my way over there if they really feel like having that teleport will be important for the bottom lane, which is crucial.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Especially, you know, when you only have one teleport against double TP, it feels really bad if you don't have either available, because you can very easily send your jungler bot, double TP on a wave, and look for that 5-man dive.
Well, it looks like Balls is going to let Moon have a bit of that XP and move his way back, holding that teleport. Moon with the Runic Echoes now finished, goes back with a controller, but again, he's just been farming, which is fine, and he's got a good amount of CS, but still not affecting the lanes just yet. One
cool little thing to note in this bot lane is the positioning of Aphromoo. He is standing intentionally ahead of Stixxay for that incoming Ash Arrow anytime that they could be at risk for having that come in. That's because you can use the Fate's Call from Callisto to pull out your support and save him. So although he doesn't have a cleanse or something, look at how he's standing. He's always there to soak up that incoming arrow.
Soaks up poke as well, as you can see, as Moon actually did sneak down here. Xmithy, though, also in the area. Hawkshot going to seek it, try and get some information. Does spot Xmithy, but Moon is just creeping forward on the Evelyn.
If they go for this, they have to kill someone very fast, because Smithy is near and there's 2 TPs available, but Moon is behind them. This looks like a great setup.
Arrow in onto Aphromoo, but now they're going to go after Stixxay. Knockup comes in, but it's not quite enough. As Altec flashes
Here's
forward.
The double TP.
Isn't quite going to go, but Stixxay almost goes down. CLG looking to close it down as Stixxay gets assassinated by Lemon. High makes his way down, but the Echo's already killed the AD carry. High gets stunned in the parallel convergence.
Balls actually went for the teleport interruption rather than the teleport answer this time around, which is very intelligent move because now they do have that extra cooldown, and in the end, both AD carries being traded. Hai was able to make his way down there eventually with his parkour, but actually, I do think that was favorable for FlyQuest, considering both teleports for CLG now on cooldown.
And more bot lane summoners were expended. You know, CLG with a quick disengage, but Moon honestly set this up so well, getting fully behind the CLG bot lane, and
he walks back in after he had escaped, and Lemon Nation nails him with the empowered Q right there.
And you just feel the pressure that Stixxay is under. I mean, he is one of the stars, if not the star of CLG. He's such a good carry player. But he got first blood, but it was a trade kill. He's the first one to go down in that fight, and he knows he's kind of getting picked on. Like, the pressure is on this guy's shoulders, and he's performed before, but it's tough looking.
Definitely still have to, you know, give the respect to the support players as well, even though it's just a Karma over there. Just a Karma, able to thread the needle and make sure it's a 1v1.
Those Mantra Soul players are very, very powerful. It's interesting to look over at Huhi and how defensively he is itemizing. He's picking up, you know, the Ninja Tabbies, the Seekers, and going the most defensive part of the Proto Belt with that Kindle Gem. So he's going to be very hard for Hai to take out. He just wants to slow down the game, slow down the progression, and get into the side lanes.
And he still had enough damage to clean up the kill on the bottom side. So it didn't cost him not building the extra damage so far.
Gets the bleed. Xmithie here in the mid lane, though. Shadow Assault out. Just going to get him to safety, but good bit of pressure. Again, Xmithie really been in the right places for a lot of these lane trades.
And look at this. They are attacking balls once again. He has a ward this time around, though, so you can see them come for this collapse. I don't know about this pressure on turrets. They could actually bring a red buff Graves to destroy it pretty quickly.
And one of the nice things about a play like this is Huhi does not fully commit. They back him off, and now they have zoned balls off the XP. But Hai's going bot side, trying to make a counterplay.
True to FlyQuest style, they're going to go for a play on the opposite side of the map. Actually, Ball's snuck in there, too, to defend.
He's going to find him on the croc. Jagged is embraced down on the Stixxay. Moon flashes forward. He needs the kill. There's a knock-up going to happen, but Hai takes out Stixxay. Afro falls as well. Hai collects the double kill on Balls. Is he going to barely get away from this game? Xmithie goes in. The tower damage, not enough. Xmithie gets the trade kill.
Moon played that so well. He actually flashed over the Nami wave, avoiding that stun, allowing them to clean up the double kill.
And Altek shooting that angle down out to the outside, almost misses, but it ends up clipping Afromu as well. And they're able to pick up the kills and turret on the opposite side. What a trade.
It is the first turret, but that said, CLG may clean up 2 turrets here. So fighting back, they should come away with a gold lead.
But still a trade though, because Infernal's up in 5. Hai able to save that turret, but Fly are likely going to get the next Dragon. In fact, Elimination going to force a flash onto Huhi. Now snared up. Hai needs to get in there, but the ulti's down. That's going to seal his down. I think Shadow Assault's in. Elimination gets another kill.
Elimination is on a rampage here. Ganks mid lane, gets the flash, the ult, and the kill onto Huhi. Wow, they get Infernal Drake #2. This game is out of control.
Yeah, Huhi just got his hand caught in the cookie jar. He wanted to finish off that last bit of health on the turret. Not only does he not do that, but he's not there to fight for the Infernal. The double scaling advantage will be so big, and here's this play again on bot side. CLG a little bit unlucky to get caught here, and watch the flash from Moon over the tidal wave. Does not get stunned. So well done.
The Evelynn invisibility really the key here, because they saw Hai coming, and he throws the bubble. He's able to lock up Hai, but didn't account for the Evelynn. They sweep around the outside, and they're able to pick them both up due to that arrow hitting as well.
The fact that Hai grabbed both the kills here too is pretty much exactly where you'd want to go. You know, get it snowballing on that Gary.
Yeah, from CLG's perspective, if they are to snowball right back into this one, because the gold lead is very close. The big differences are those Infernal Drakes. If they are able to get back in this one, it's going to need to be off of, you know, this Camille scaling, right? Her Trinity Force is getting pretty close. Has to see a mat. They focused on that side, and they're still focusing on that side.
Ultimatum still there. Balls just can't get out in time. He tries to dash away, but Darshan is going to chase it down. Good bit of healing, but Darshan still gets the kill again.
It is becoming a bit problematic that they're not actually defending balls on the top side. They are trying to roam up and make a counter play. We'll see if they can catch them.
This game is just full of pain trains now. Everybody goes up to the top side after he dies. Now they're going right back mid as they are alerted to the roam.
It's never a fair fight, Kobe.
Well, Xmithie has done a great job helping pressure these lanes. You can see 2-0-2 involved in almost every kill for this early part of the game for CLG, but FlyQuest Still a team that will play in your face for as long as possible. High skulking down towards that bottom side, looking for a target. Moon doing the same. This is the tag team that's going to carry FlyQuest through this mid-game.
Yeah, definitely true. And it just reiterate Azel's point earlier about the armor stacking as a possibility. It is crucial that Moon does get some of the gold here to be that AP threat. Already you can see 4 Ninja Tabbies are purchased here on CLG's side. They did not hesitate.
No, not at all. And Darshan, while he is going to build aggressive first, likely seem to Triforce and then probably get something like a Titanic, you can build tanky after that. And you can stand up very well to the rest of these members.
Moon hoping someone else walks past, but Altec is going to pressure this turret. Hurricane not quite there yet. In fact, both AD carries should be starting their builds in a very similar fashion. Blade of the Ruin King's done. Runan's on the way next. There's a proto belt now done for Huhi. Although we're still looking again for Darshan Trinity Force, Flight Cleaver done for balls, and the BF sold again for High, so looking for a lot of that early damage. If FlyQuest can find the right targets, High especially will just destroy them.
And the one-on-one between Huhi and High is going to be so critical. If someone can get this big edge in that unlocks the split push completely for them.
Interesting allocation here as FlyQuest opt to rotate 2 up to the top side. To try and get some pressure onto Darshan, but their middle turret is so low, I don't know if High alone could hold that. That's like 1 auto attack from 6 and maybe 2. He scares him off though as the roam comes back down from the top squad.
Yeah, both sides kind of bail out of the play as Darshan is able to clear it out. Then High, with the rest of the members missing, can threaten that engage too. So both teams playing with a lot of respect for the other team. This is game 5. There's so much additional pressure on the line. One poor decision can cost you the game, and oftentimes that can make players play at a more measured pace.
Yeah. Love game 5 full of all DPS champions.
True. It looks like High goes back down towards that bottom lane to match Huhi. This is kind of the framework CLG want for that 1-3-1, so this should get better as the game goes longer. High, though, right now looks to have some sort of 1v1 advantage, but he can't see where the rest of CLG are.
Definitely can. And another thing I'd like to track is, will Aframu go for an earlier Mikhails this game? He never picked one up last game. We don't have QSS. The Ash arrows were insane from Altec last game, and I do think that Mikhails can be quite powerful to help with that.
Buy Mikhails, save a life. Altec has been very accurate with those arrows from an abnormally long range as well. We'll see if he does get more of those shots. I mean, he's got a lot of fog of war to fire them from. One thing about the ward coverage of FlyQuest, they've protected their territory very well. And if you shoot the arrow from your fog of war, it really does increase your chances a lot with being able to land those. So much more difficult for the CLG members to dodge.
High's actually going to move towards the top side of the map, maybe due to the fact that Darshan looking strong with that Trinity Force now finished for Camille. Black Cleaver also now just picked up for Xmithy. There's a Drake up in a minute 5, so FlyQuest, see if they can continue their run on that objective, or if CLG and that 3-lane pressure is going to start to really cause problems now that we're 20 minutes into the game.
Definitely true. Both teleports are ready for CLG. Even though the 2 Infernals are there for FlyQuest, the gold is fairly even. And it does okay, that one not going to find a spark.
Good attempt though.
And Arrow with the margins keeping 6A alive there. He was gone if that hits.
Yeah, Moon was there as well for follow-up. He's been really good about sitting in the correct part of the lane and kind of doing what he needs to do.
And actually, the Triforce now being done on Darshan means Ball's time in this one-on-one is kind of over. It becomes very difficult to match up with that power spike, and the additional true damage coming out with that Triforce proc is so big.
Exactly. That's why we can kind of see him hugging the turret instead.
Straight in onto it, but Stixay pops the blade. High actually gets bubbled up.
TV's coming in.
Darshan going to make it first over the looks of things. They are going to both complete. There's Huhi, excuse me. Darshan already here, and now Balls. That's going to run away. Power Convergence going to set it up, but there's Balls diving straight back into it. Huhi, he's going to look to go down, but he also keeps himself safe. High tries to get onto Stixay, but it's not quite enough as he flashes back forward. Stixay so low. Bubble hits on the High. Altec in the front line. Stixay takes down High. Darshan, he's going to die to the volley. Tags him through the Raptors. Another one for one trade.
This is a sick game. What a team fight. Holy moly. All the flashes being blown there.
They're still sticking around.
Oh my goodness. The 1-1 trade. Turret's going down.
Gonna get aggressive. FlyQuest Altec caught by a bubble. Moon gonna run a screen to try and cover for his AD carry. This should mean the end of the siege, but we'll see. FlyQuest playing crazy.
That's what I like to see. Everybody taking lots of damage. Flashes in and out there. Just barely trading the kills.
Yeah. almost every flash expended from FlyQuest there, going in, going out, such a close fight. Altec, hold up!
No, move's not quite far enough forward, and now Stixxay gonna look to take him down. Arrow does land and takes a couple of turret shots, but
TP
it's
from
the
Darshan.
second TP. Darshan makes it down.
That's gonna be
FlyQuest, I mean, they stay for the Drake, and that's what cost FlyQuest that kill.
Afromoo on the Nami has landed so many Aqua Prisons, and this one, the confidence to go for that flash onto Altec, earns them an objective. All right, we all need to calm down a little bit, I guess.
That's what this is telling us. Everyone relax.
The Aqua Prison is actually deceptively hard to hit, too. Like,
It's super hard to hit.
Yeah.
If you play Nami one time, you're like, how does anyone land any of these? Without slows on someone before them, it's definitely difficult. Good flash there from Afromoo. Gets Altec. Whew.
And you know, it's kind of nice to have a spot to just let some of the tension slide away, at least briefly. We'll get news on what exactly is happening, but we do have a pause here. And I mean, it's kind of funny that this is the only time in the series so far we've had a pause, but I think it's fitting given the situation. And I think the thing I really love about Best of 5 is it tests all your skills. And we're expecting shot calling to be a big thing in the series. We test mechanics, we test macro. What's your drafting like? How good are you at adapting? But
Team fighting.
more than anything else, Best of 5s test your heart. And these two teams have so much experience that, I mean, we're going to see really what these teams are made of.
I mean, you know, saying it tests your heart sounds kind of funny,
That's
but it's
some Captain
very
Planet stuff.
It's very true because it's one of those things where team morale, right? That is so massive in a best of 5. If you allow your team to feel defeated, it's so easy to have a landslide defeat, and you need to stay motivated. You need to keep up the confidence in your practice.
That's why we've emphasized so many times the importance of how many veterans are on both of these squads. CLG, you know, one of the squads that's been together the longest. High, Balls, and Lemon Nation as a trio have played almost their whole careers together, and definitely showing up pretty big in this best of 5.
They certainly are, and they just have so much experience to lean on from being in tough situations time and time again. They were able to pull it back. You know, they know that they can do it, and they have the faith in their team to be able to execute on these plays and to play, you know, risky comps with high barriers of execution. Eve Talon in Game 5. We're back at it.
Let's look at this crazy fight again.
Yeah, let's take a look. All right, so that was one Aqua Prison onto High to delay this for the teleports. Now, Balls didn't want to cancel this because then his team would be left with odd numbers, but completing it does open him up to a decent amount of harassment. Then they almost stun lock Kuki there. Everybody gets out of his ultimate when he goes back in.
Yeah, and High even W flashing in for more damage does get picked off, and it ends up being a trade. It's such a close fight.
And what killed High? Another Aqua Prison from Afromoo.
And then the initial play does continue. They're trying to force down. It ended up being Altec that was caught off that, which resulted in CLG going towards the Dragon where we are now. At this pause, Game 5 here, 22 minutes in. It's really tight.
And I think it is important to highlight Afro's play has been exceptional on the Nami all series long. And High, you know, kind of doing what he needs to do. Certainly looking a lot more comfortable now that his team's picked up some momentum. I know we called it the shot caller stream when we were looking at the alt stream for the first 2 games, but that kind of undersells other qualities that these players have. Like, leadership is very important in moments like this. And that's the other thing that the captains of your team bring. It's, you know, being a cheerleader and boosting that morale. And once again, High and Afro will be tested at every single level.
I really do like that distinction because these guys are 2 of the best in-game leaders and out-of-game leaders that we have ever had in the North American LCS.
Just a quick update as well. Altec had a problem with his screen, so that's what we're kind of investigating into. Apparently it froze. Very difficult to play when that happens. It happens to me a lot, but it's usually gray, so I don't really know about that bug. Seems a little weird.
Yeah, I get that bug too sometimes. I don't know.
The classic. Me, never. I've never actually. I don't know what you're
Never
talking
made a
about.
mistake. Never died. Don't know what it's like to lose. That's Kobe. All right, so, I mean, back to the state of the game, I do still think, despite the Infernal Dragons, if you choose, you know, one team to kind of take their spot, I do think CLG is still in a better position, taking the compositions and their kind of goals in this game into consideration, you know, setting themselves up well for the 1-3-1. You know, they have a good amount of gold on both of their split pushers, and I think it's going to be more on FlyQuest still to execute on plays.
And even though, you know, we keep talking about, oh, there's so much damage in these games and all these guys are running these DPS champions, you know, small amounts of armor are going to go a long way for the CLG squad. And you talk about the team comps, that might end up being a factor for them. That being said, it's not like there's a tremendous amount of diversification across the other side. So Lemon Nation as well got a lot of kills on the Karma so far, so he's going to add some magic damage. And I mean, both sides really are going to be packing those small amounts of armor and resistances.
Yeah, the armor is going to be very helpful. One thing where I do think it can make quite a difference is for guys like Altec. If Huhi can land a late game combo on you, and you don't have something like a Maw, like a Mercurial, like some of that magic resist, you can go down so fast. Like once Echo is at like Lichbane type status, it's ridiculous how much damage you can do.
When there's so many assassins and so many mobile champions in the game, it becomes very difficult to play one of those AD carries that doesn't have their own dash, that is one of those low mobility carries.
One of the things I also love about the combo that they have here is you use the Camille ult, it sets up very easily for the Echo stun. You know, you're trapped in there, you cannot escape that follow-up, and that makes it even harder for a dashless AD carry.
It's right inside. It's just like playing blocks when you're 5 years old. Put the circle inside of the hexagon,
Certainly
right?
tough to get past. Looks like we are a couple of minutes, so not too far away from resuming the game. Looks like things are going well, fixing Altec's issue, whatever he was having there. I think we've talked a lot about kind of the compositions and the scaling. I'm kind of curious, like, what does a winning teamfight look like for, say, FlyQuest? Because it seems difficult to break up the 1-3-1, and that's going to be the challenge moving into the late game.
It's catching someone with an Ash Arrow, it's getting flanks, it's full commitment to a fight while the split pushers are not there, or it's a collapse on the split pusher and taking them out. You need to be extremely decisive.
On top of that, one of the best qualities that Moon has displayed in the LCS this season especially is his flanking abilities. And I think that really does come from, you know, being born as this Evelynn main player that has played like thousands of games of Evelynn in solo queue as his main champion. Forget all that stuff. Let's get back into the game.
All right, let's go. Drake over to CLG. They'll get their first of this game. It is an Ocean High trying to defend the push that's coming down the mid lane, but deflects that one pretty effortlessly. Darshan, they're going to get a turret, and things starting to open up for CLG. A gold lead now forming of almost 2,000.
And Darshan also is going towards Ravenous Hydra, not Titanic. That is more of a 1v1 build rather than the team fight burst. You sustain up, you can outlast and outtrade this Renekton.
Definitely true if you're not worried about getting 100 to zeroed, which I don't
Brave
think
man.
he is.
I mean, there's a Talon with a Duskblade that's just finished, so we'll see just how brave Darshan can afford to be. But FlyQuest right now just kind of defending CLG's siege attempts here. So Scuttlecrab on the left side is going to go down over to them. FlyQuest without a Drake to play towards, probably moving their power towards this left side as well. High, I think it wants to be in a side lane, just kind of continue to farm and maybe catch somebody out. But again, CLG will have the advantage in the side lanes due to those 2 TPs, although which they do have right now.
Yeah, here's some of that flanking we're talking about from Moon. Trying to get in there from the side, but nobody's sticking out here for CLG. They know that everyone has to be careful for the initiation. Altec looking for the arrow.
Uwe actually going in. That might be a little too far. Gonna jump in on him and do some damage. He's snared down, invulnerable with the Zhonya's. Gonna have to burn the ulti quickly. No, goes down to Moon.
A lot of it too far right there for who he goes right in on them. And, you know, Altec holds onto the arrow because he knows that's a commitment. And if anyone else from CLG steps up, they'll get nailed.
He actually had so much time to ult back out of that. Like, that is an unacceptable death. I mean, he dove into that. You see there's 4 people there. You press R, you're back out.
They still get in for that one auto onto the turret, which is kind of curious. Altec does have arrow. I mean, I know they sent High up to the top side to farm the minions, but they just let that one go down afterwards, and CLG still get money out of it.
Blue buff getting stolen as well. Darshan has really just taken over this right-hand side of the map. Gonna even get the Grump as he kind of waits for the wave to move back towards him. Balls is playing so far back towards that turret.
Yeah, and he has to. He's going to have to for the rest of the game unless he has that support, which can make it very difficult. And Huhi going down does allow High to have time up here on this top side, but CLG is moving up.
High actually just gonna dodge out of the way. I've solved the mystery, by the way. Didn't have his ultimate. It was barely not back.
Okay.
It didn't quite have it. Ulted back from base to get into the fight. I don't know why you dive that far if you don't have your ultimate, but it cost him a kill that seems very unnecessary.
Makes a lot of sense. I couldn't quite see that on the monitor, but you know, it's such an easy play to make.
Couple of low health turrets that FlyQuest have to choose between, and they're hovering between top side and bottom side right now, or mid lane right now. Both of those, if they just make a push for it, or if they get a pick, there can be a pretty big swing in this game.
Especially with Baron on the map. And we know both these teams are willing to go for these very early Barons. FlyQuest has taken a lot of their wins in this series off of very aggressive Baron calls, and they will move straight towards it if they think they have a chance.
I mean, Kobe mentioned earlier he loves Game 5s with all DPS champions. That also means that the Baron is a very easy objective to take down, especially with the 2 Infernals left for FlyQuest and the Mountain Drake coming up as the next one. So we can look to that objective as well as Huhi and Hai facing up. But Smithy's here, going to leap into action. So is Moon, though. 2v2 backs off.
Both mid laners pulling their jungle cards. Haha, here's mine. Now you back off. No, you. Okay, everybody playing fairly cautiously here as they are able to take down the control ward. And you can tell, CLG still trying to split this map apart, buy some time there for Darshan. He probably is the one who can gain the biggest advantage as far as their lane spread, and the rest of them are just trying to keep these low health turrets afloat.
And it's really, a lot of it is on the 3-man squad in the split push, as funny as it sounds. The star ends up being the guy who's in the side lane, but this 3-man squad cannot get picked off. If you do get picked off, if you do not maintain control, the entire split push falls apart.
Well, looks like CLG again just happy to wait and keep the lanes pressured back and forth. It is tough for FlyQuest to do much with those 2 turrets still up. The turrets are low, but they are not gone, and it's a huge difference at this stage in the game. CLG again just taking over, and with that Mountain Drake up in a minute 30, FlyQuest will struggle to get in there and try and contest for it.
It also means that a teamfight victory is worth that much more. If you win a fight as FlyQuest, you clean up mid turret, you clean up top turret, there's potentially Baron. Like, the swing that can happen off of a fight like that is insane, especially when you add in the double infernal power that they do kind of have in their back pocket.
Well, it looks like Hai is continuing to 1v1 Huhi, and he's actually 2 levels ahead, so CLG going to look to try and cover perhaps as FlyQuest cheat towards the left-hand side. CLG is sticking pretty firmly in mid right now, just kind of waiting, making sure those waves are pushed in and that they've got the side lanes kind of guided in the correct spot here. The trio for CLG here, Stixxay, Afro, and Smithy, do need to be very careful when their side lanes are pushing. Darshan and balls again. Darshan takes a few turret hits, but doesn't seem too upset by it.
Yeah, at the moment, though, CLG are getting a pretty good push, and they've called over Stixxay, trying to take the turret down.
Now FlyQuest need to make a response. Do they go to the Baron? I mean, Hai is already over there.
Yep.
They might make the rush.
Very risky.
There he goes.
The teleport has been pulled.
This is FlyQuest at their best. They love these aggressive Barons, but CLG are already in the area using those TPs to get in. Baron is low, though. Arrow going to miss onto Smithy, and FlyQuest, they pull off the Baron.
Oh, yeah, they wanted to bait him in a little bit closer to be able to land that arrow. Both teleports were used by CLG to answer, though, and now it's the spread.
And they have the mid lane track. CLG's going to run right up mid and go for this mid tier 2. Moon is behind, though, so they could look to set up a flank and the following fight.
Here they are, swooping around. Moon's got positioning behind CLG. They are grouped up as 5, though, and if they just turn...
for him. That's so smart. Look at Huhi trailing the team, trying to keep track of him.
Darshan may be caught, but CLG going to run out together. Hai leaping over a wall to try and start something. Ball's going to get Darshan. Moon already spotted. Aquaprison not going to quite connect.
Safety in numbers here for CLG, and they are able to keep the pack together. After getting this turret, now they can circle back around, try and defend. Oh, actually, they're flanking themselves.
Oh, Darshan actually may be caught here by elimination, but they can actually cut the wave and prevent that turret from going down. FlyQuesters don't feel confident in a straight-up 5v5.
Now they have positioning to move towards the Dragon. CLG have really out-rotated FlyQuest after this Baron did not work.
Completely out-rotated. The top turret for FlyQuest did end up going down, or CLG's turret in favor of FlyQuest. So they got a little bit of gold there, but definitely outplayed there by CLG. And nice maneuvering to at least get this mountain. So they might have comparable pressure around objectives like Baron. Oh, the fight, though!
I actually trying to leap out, but he can't get out of the ultimatum. Huli managed to take him down.
This is honestly super scary now because you give the Mountain Dragon over to the Callista team. If they can get control of the Baron area, it is not a 50-50. It is a very heavily
inside. Arrow going to find it, but not quite there. Hui looking to defend his support. Does do so successfully. Moon doesn't go all in with the ultimate.
The difference between these two games, just in the arrows landing versus not landing, is so big. And here is Hai, ultimatumed in, nowhere to go.
Yep, good job there by Darshan to jump on the pick, and CLG are able to get 2 for 1 there, basically.
See again, Stixxay also building pretty defensively for an AD carry. He does have a QSS, which makes sense. Look, the Afro didn't go for Mikhail, but Asterix as well.
I think it's such an intelligent build because FlyQuest, their team fight peters off pretty hard. You go in, you have the initial burst from Moon and High and the ultimate from Balls. If you don't kill someone right then, your team fight will start to fall apart against CLGs, I think.
Afro chunks. Moon doing a healthy amount of damage with the Leandries, but kind of needs another item to really get things going. And it does feel like CLG have put themselves in a spot where they've got a good gold lead and the waves are all starting to push back up. Saw TPs have about half the cooldowns left. As Stixxay may be caught here by Moon, but he's got a tower to get safely back to. And now Stixxay's on the offensive.
Tanky.
Darshan in, finds Lamination. That's going to force a flash. Balls tries to defend. High with a GA, might look for a flank here, but
Darshan's ultimate is just coming up now. As Ball's ultimate expires, they will be at risk, and CLG could force Baron.
Who he is going up to get the top side pushing even faster as well. A lot of vision for CLG around this Baron to set up.
CLG again just so good at making sure they set up correctly around the map. But FlyQuest are a wildcard team. Lemonation going to be caught here by Darshan, but Altec going to lay the shots in. Darshan goes down instantly, and now High looking to dive back in, but he needs to get Stixxay. Finds Smithy instead. Rake damage is almost enough to take him down. The Ignite isn't quite there. High actually does take him down. Jungler down.
The YOLO Camille throw right here from Darshan. No defenses, and he just goes right in on Lemonation. Easy focus fire there from FlyQuest. And a pretty big punish. Now puts CLG in a very scary
They're on
position.
Baron.
Yeah, they're going to start the Baron, and High has a GA here. They can team fight into this very easily. CLG may have thrown the game.
Have to be careful though. Who are you going to dive in? Looks for Altec. That's straight in. Almost able to take him down. The time but not quite enough. High though on the Stixxay on the other side, but who he goes down. Balls barely stays alive, and now Stixxay is trying to be the hero for his team, but High is going to take him down. Altec gets the kill. FlyQuest now back on the Baron with 4 from CLG dead.
And in game number 5, such a close game. FlyQuest come out with the victory in their own jungle.
If Afro steals this Baron, okay, it's not going to happen. Lemonation gets low. Baron over the FlyQuest, and this game turns right back around.
They almost aced them out of their own jungle into a Baron.
That is just a disaster play here from CLG. I mean, in the 3v5, very hard to do anything. Who he does not have his ultimate, gets a lot of chunk damage out. Stixxay flashing in. He thought he would get the reset, kill off Balls, but you know, he's not able to do it. Flashed in, doesn't even get the kill thanks to the Karma Shield, and now it's a complete disaster.
You can say that again.
And Stixxay just looks crushed. He can feel the weight of this game on his shoulders, and High, when he is happy, he is terrifying to play against.
I mean, you know, it's not the best play from Stixxay, but really, you have to look at Darshan. Like, what was that engage? They saw the entire team around, then they step out of vision for 1 second, and you all in blind on Elimination.
Over a wall that the rest of the team
follow.
can't get through, yeah.
Just brutal. I mean, CLG, they do still have the 1-3-1 advantage, but FlyQuest have the tools they need to perhaps close out this game.
Yep, CLG really want to stall it out now.
High's going in. He wants to try and bleed out Who he. Huge amount of damage done as he procs it. But FlyQuest just playing around the map. Camille still has a good track on that bottom side, so Balls has to kind of stick there and move the minions back in. But he's got teleport. FlyQuest, if they see an opportunity, they can take it.
And having that healing debuff for High with the Executioner's Calling in the one-on-one, Hui's ultimate actually counts as a heal. So that is actually debuffed, I do believe, by that Executioner's Calling and will make a big difference in an eventual one-on-one.
FlyQuest still with just under 2 minutes of Baron left. Going to try and knock down some more turrets. You kind of said it earlier, as they on that FlyQuest, when they win a team fight, they'll generally win big from it. This game, back to even as far as gold goes, and if FlyQuest can open up even more with this Baron, this game to be close to done for CLG.
Yeah, I mean, CLG, they want to spread the map, they want to hold on, and the side lanes are still the story.
Yeah, I mean, as much as that was a pretty big disaster for them, we got to see how much FlyQuest are able to take with this Baron buff. Because as you keep saying, Azael, this side lane Camille still has a lot of split push power, and CLG still have a lot of options. Double teleports are available again for them.
It's tough. The map's just a little too open for FlyQuest to really overcommit to anything when CLG have their globals. I mean, look how long that bottom lane is that Balls has to deal with. Like, Darshan is continuing to pressure, and FlyQuest know that if we overextend and make a mistake, we're going to lose inhibitors. That's not a winning formula for FlyQuest, even though they have Baron.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I mean, you have to fully commit to a fight when you do see the opportunity, but it's same time, you pick the wrong fight.
Oh, Stixay gonna be caught again. High looking for it. Stark's gonna broke. High flashes in. He's trying to go straight for it. Stixay getting low, cutting it up, but High manages to take him down. GA's gonna pop. Where's the rest of FlyQuest? It's the double TP, I think. Who is in now? Darshan can join as well. High does get taken down by Darshan, but Moon. Zonya's in the middle of the parallel convergence. Altec still needs to keep firing. It's 4v4 right now.
And this is Elder Dragon that's coming up in a couple seconds, so they can use this Baron buff to push up the minions, and now they're getting vision around that Elder Dragon.
This would be a tough fight if CLG want to take it. I think they have to, though. There is no escape from the Camille ultimate. That's what they're looking for.
And no teleport from Huhi, so he has to walk from base. If they can delay them, it's almost gone.
Altec looking for it. They're going to try and turn
over the wall.
Smithy, maybe that's a steal. Balls looks for Afro a bit, forces a flash out. Smithy goes straight in for it. I think he's going to go down here. Redemption not going to be caught. He slips on the other side. Hui dives straight in. Big stuff with the parallel convergence. Moon locked up there as well. Huge one. Gets the kill. Dragon over to FlyQuest though. And now Hui's dead as well. They're going to keep going after Moon. Now going to go down, I think. Lemon's going to tie him up. Altec will move in for the rest of this kill. Disaster again for CLG.
We'll have to see that again. It actually looked like the dragon leveled up or something. It looked like the HP went up there.
It leashed back to its spawn as both junglers smited it and then healed up a little bit. Altec ends up getting it with the auto attacks or the volley, I believe, and now it's FlyQuest. Back-to-back huge teamfight victories and huge objectives.
They might just try to, we'll see how far they try to push this. Still 20 seconds left. They're trying to take this up. I think they're trying to end.
They do so much damage. 20 seconds.
I think they can end.
CLG are back. FlyQuest are going to go for it all right this second. Stixay the only one to defend for quite a while. FlyQuest going to try and end the game high. Plenty of damage. There's one Nexus turret going down. Nexus turret number 2 as Stixay tries to fight it out, but he's going to bleed down. High gets the kill. Nexus open and FlyQuest reverse sweep CLG and push Altec and the rest of the team all the way to Vancouver.
Oh, what an upset and what a turnaround from FlyQuest. They bide their time, they find the perfect fight around Baron, around Elder, but CLG, they had that game and they threw it all away.
What makes it even crazier is the way this series went with the first 2 games completely in CLG's control, dominating victories in game number 1 and 2, but then FlyQuest come back with the assassins for Moon and High, some first blood kills, some early snowballing, and they absolutely rally to take this